It is Saturday the 1st of July 2023. I want to believe that half of 2023 is now over. Anyway, I've come down to the farm because Steve is continuing with cutting the hay crop. As you can see, we've been joined by two of our rams who've decided to take a wander from field 2 right the way down through field 3. Oops, the grass is greener coming down here. Right, they're now following me. Go on, you two. There you go. So, always appeal to their stomach when you want to move them. These are our Hebrideans, and we'll be moving them shortly from the paddock here to field 1. This is here is the gate to field 2. So this is field 1 where we've got, let's see, down here, some of our Texels. They're the ones that get wandering off onto the land, so we'll put them in here because it's more secure. Right, we've finished cutting the part of the field that we wanted to do today, but we are running over the machine that sort of turns over the grass. And the point is that it sort of fluffs it all up and it lets the air through it, which makes it easier for it to dry out. So as you can see, that bit of kit cuts the grass into long rows. So that's the bottom of the field now cut. The grass has been turned and we will turn it again in 2 days' time. It's Monday the 3rd of July 2023. I'm on our far side plot. This is the plot on the other side of the Winnies to our poultry plot, and we have a secure paddock in here, which, as you can see, this is part of the fence for it. Great for holding the goats, and we don't normally have the goats in here though. It's normally if there's a particular reason that we've got to have a couple of them separated. Well, we've got 2 of them separated off at the moment, and it's really that they're in here to eat all the vegetation that's growing in the rest of our far side plot. So we gather up a few armfuls of greenery every day and feed it to them. So it's about sort of using efficiently what's growing next door there. But this plot is also getting a bit overrun with branches. So as you can see, lots of branches here, and a pile of them down here. And this is the rest of the paddock. We made a start last week with sorting out the branches that are here, but there's also all sorts of spindly sticks and twigs that we can't use for anything. Well, potentially we could shred them, but we don't have a shredder, so we're going to have to burn them. Now, that's not something I particularly like doing because it's always sort of seems to me as a resource that's being blown away. But we haven't got much choice at the moment, so we are going to crack on with getting all these spindly twigs burnt today. The reason why we have all these branches is because we've got a lot of hawthorn hedges around here, so there's one there. And the goats love the hawthorn, so as you can see, they've stripped the bark off some of these. They've eaten the twigs, the smaller twigs and the leaves, and this is what's left behind.
unfortunately, thank you very much. Unfortunately, I've not finished the job, and I'm not going to get it finished today because I've got a meeting to go to at 1:30, and it's now midday. So I've got to get lunch, and I've got to feed the animals, and then get into Gateshead for this meeting. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to come back to this job on another day. It's Wednesday, the 5th of July 2023. There's two of our milking goats that are due to give birth from about Friday onwards, and both of them are looking absolutely enormous. So we're going to be moving the two of them today from our farm here to the allotment at the Winnies, the one that we call the near side, so we can keep an eye on them. So this is Agnes. You can see just how big she is. So she's definitely got two. And a third one in there. And this is Florence. And you can see just how much this is bagged up. I'm expecting her to go first. But as I say, we're going to move the two of them down to the near side allotment. And this is Parker. He's the daddy. Now that's Buster in the middle there. That's Parker there. Now Buster I've just brought up from the other paddock where he was living with the other nannies, the ones that we're not breeding at the moment. And he's been brought up because goats here are social animals, so we don't keep any by themselves. So Buster will be company for Parker, you know. And then the two girls will be going down to the near side. So there's Florence. You can see just how big her udders are. Buster is castrated, which is why we were able to keep him with the other nannies. And we now have both of them in the trailer, ready to be transferred. Right, here she is. This is Florence. And enormous udders. And we'll be milking her this afternoon. But she's now on the near side. A bunch of everything under the strip most of the leaves off the there. And Agnes. And we've got Siren and Star on here as well. They've been here for a week or so now. The Siren and Star are on here because we put them on here about a week ago because somebody had turned up and given them something toxic to eat, so it made them sick. So we brought them back here for observations, but we also took them to the vet as well, which cost £300. So be very careful what you feed to animals. Preferably get the permission of the people who own the animals before you feed them, so that they can check what you're feeding them on. So I know people out of all innocence will feed animals, but you've got to make sure that you're not feeding them something toxic. You can see how her back is hollowed out a bit, and that means that the babies have changed position and they're in the position that they need to be in to give birth. Now, so she's isolated herself, but she's got a mucus discharge from her rear end. You can see that. And yeah, the chickens aren't helping.
Right, she's now started, as you can see, the hooves are just starting to show. Right, here's the first one. It's a boy. I had to help deliver it, but he's good and healthy. Just starting to breathe. Next one's arrived. That second one is a boy as well, so I've got two boys. The first one here is already trying to get on its feet, which is a good sign.
That's it. Good boy.
So these two are going back to the house now, where we will keep them in overnight, feed them through the night, and then we'll bring them back here tomorrow morning. Agnes, the mother, she's a milking goat, so that's why we took the babies away from her before she had the chance to bond with them. So we cleaned them up, which is the first part of the mother-kid bonding process. So we stepped in straight away. So she's not distressed. She's not looking for her babies. She's quite settled.
It's Sunday the 9th of July 2023. The goat babies are now 2 days old, and up to now, the last 2 evenings, we have taken them home and kept them there. But tonight they're going to have their first experience of a sleepover on the allotment. It's actually going to be in the duck run, because we have a duck house in there that the ducks don't bother using. So I'm going to clean it out, fill it with bedding, and we'll put them in there overnight. They've been drinking the milk that we took off both nannies over the last few days, because that's got the colostrum in it, and they need that for their immune system to make sure it's geared up. And without that, you're probably going to have problems with your babies over the next few months, because they may well not survive any outbreak of any illnesses. So I've got one of them now patting my leg.
Yep. We've marked them. That's meant to be a 1. This is the first one born. But otherwise they're absolutely identical, so it's difficult to work out which is which if you don't mark them. So this is the second one born. We knew this was the second one because this one had a little bit of sort of yellow afterbirth left on her. We knew that the yellow afterbirth was on the second one born. Plus he's slightly, ever so slightly heavier than the other one. Anyway, that was an attempt to spray paint a 2 on the side of them there. Not very successful. As you can see, here is Florence, bagged up quite well. We've milked her twice. We're going to milk her again tomorrow. But we don't know when she's due exactly, but she's in the range when she could be ready. She's got some of the signs, hollowed out back being the first one, which means that the babies have moved into the birthing position.
So this is the old hen house. So it's been in the duck run for ages, but the ducks just don't use it. And it's going to be difficult to get it out of here to use elsewhere, because we've got netting over this site, and the gate's too narrow to get it through, because this duck run was built around this. So it's staying here. So it's got a use now as a goat kid shelter, and we'll put the kids in here tonight. So it'll be their first night out in the allotment. Well, it's coming up to 10 o'clock in the evening, so I'm just giving them the their milk. So as you can see, there we go. And when they've polished off that bottle, I'll put them into their new shelter. So there they are. It's getting a bit dark now, so that's hopefully them settled for the night. They've had about a third of a bottle each of milk, and then they'll get another feed first thing in the morning. It is Tuesday the 11th of July 2023. When I got to our near side allotment this morning, there was a little surprise waiting for me. Actually, not just one surprise, but three of them. So, Florence has had her babies, and she's had three of them. So this is Mum, but because she's a milker, we're going to have to take her babies away for a few days, so we'll break the link. Obviously we'll be milking her, and the babies will be raised by us. And would you believe it? They're all boys. And Agnes's babies, 2 boys, last week as well, so no girls this year. So we've got them in the box, ready to go back home for a couple of days. So here we are back home, and so we will keep them here for a day or so, just enough to break the bond with the mother, and then once that's done we can actually put them back in with the mother, because the mother won't let them feed, but they should by then be feeding quite happily from the bottle. Well, it's 10 o'clock in the evening, and they're all sound asleep. It's Monday the 24th of July 2023. I'm at the bottom of our hayfield, and it's looking very sorry for itself, because we cut the hay crop at the bottom part of the field at the end of June, and then it rained every day since then, so it's ruined this hay crop. We got some in onto a hay rick just in time, although we didn't finish it, so therefore the top of the hay rick was flat, so therefore when the rain came, the rainwater wasn't running off it, because you're supposed to have it on the top of it at an angle. And as I say, every day since then, it has rained, and the hay crop is ruined. So open it up and see it's pretty wet and horrible. It's going slimy. We can't do anything with this. The weather forecast for the next 2 weeks is rain just about every day, so that's no use for making hay. And we're at the point now where, having delayed cutting it because we're waiting for drier weather to come along, what's left waiting to be cut isn't as nutritious as it was if we'd been able to cut it at the start of July. So we have a problem, and that is, how do we get a supply of feed for the livestock to get them over winter? Because that's what the hay does. We can feed the goats and the sheep over winter on the hay, and we don't particularly want to buy it in because it's now quite expensive. So what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is actually to cut back the grass on this hay field, and then we'll put the sheep on here over winter. We'll cut it so that the new growth comes through, and then in our field 2, which is about half the size, just over half the size of this hayfield, we'll cut that as well, but we'll keep the sheep off it until the early spring and put the sheep on there. At that point there should be a lot of new growth on the grass. So that's the plan. I would have much preferred to have this area scattered with hay ricks, and we'd have a feed supply for them over the winter. Sadly, that's not to be. The interesting point, though, is that where we've cut it here, the sheep come down and they love the short grass because they're quite happy to graze on that. So that, at least, is a plus.
So you can see up there where we haven't cut it, this area we have cut, but where it's not cut, it's now past its best.
Nevertheless, we will still need some hay over the winter, particularly for the goats, because they're confined to relatively large paddocks, whereas the sheep have the free rein of the fields. So we've looked at the weather forecast, and it's going to rain pretty much every day for the next 2 weeks. So it's going to take us well into August. But we're hoping at that point we can have a few days of dry weather, and it'll be all hands on deck to get the hay crop ready and harvested and stored. So it doesn't have to be of the size that we had last year if we're putting the sheep out for grazing, because we've got 1,600 bales off this field last year. But we don't need that quantity this year if the sheep are actually eating what's there already. But we will need a few hay ricks worth of hay. So it's just, we're going to be doing, people do rain dances, we're going to be doing sun dances to try and get some nice dry weather. We just need 5 days of it, and we can get the hay produced, and that'll be a big job in August if the weather plays along with us. It's Saturday the 29th of July 2023. I'm at the Winnies in the community garden area, and they're having an event to officially open their medieval garden, and they have the mayor here, and I've also spotted the deputy leader of the council, Catherine Donovan, seems to have had a quick word with me as well. So I'm here with two of the goat kids, two of the ones that were born to Florence. So they are the younger of the ones that we have at the moment. And of course they have already attracted a lot of interest from the punters here in the garden.